Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and welcome to Turtle Rock. It recommends the medicine of magic here, magic potion, but really, we don't need it. As long as you use your magic conservatively, you'll be fine. Now here we do need to use the Cave of Samara, Samara, whatever the hell you want to call it. And this is just kind of an example telling us that this is the mechanic of the dungeon, and get used to it, so... Does use a little bit of magic, but it's not terrible. Now there is kind of a shortcut in this little section right here, and we'll get to it momentarily. But I just wanted to show you there's some arrows and a little bit of extra magic there if you need it. It's not really going to help you much, not like a magic decanter, but it's there. And a lot of these enemies will give you magic, so that's a good thing. Now here, there's a little bit of a shortcut, and I had to look this up to see if there's any additional glitches involving this. And what you can do is go ahead and do this, and do this, and do that, and then if you use this with a hook shot, you fall off here, and you can automatically go back up here. So that's pretty nice. Nice little trick there. Also here, you can use the hook shot here, and you won't get hit. It takes a little bit of practice, but didn't get it perfectly on my first try, but at least I showed that off for you. Now you can do that again if you want to. I'm not going to head all the way back to the beginning because of all the magic that we have to use. But, yeah. I like that little hook shot trick. I was watching a few speed runs to try to, see if there's anything I've missed in this game, and that was one trick that I definitely was not aware of. So yeah, the hook shot is very useful. And I'm not sure why that works. I think it's because you become invincible when you shoot out the hook shot for some reason. I'm not 100% sure on that, though. I got another one of these rooms. I hate these kind of rooms, but... that's one thing about Zelda games, you know, at least the first few Zelda games. I don't know about the later ones with these floor tiles here, but maybe it's a mechanic they got rid of. Because I know I don't remember it in Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time. Of course, it's been a while since I've touched those games, but... an extra fairy in here and some extra magic, so that's pretty good. Now, these little tongues here, they don't do anything as far as I'm aware, so don't worry about them. It's kind of a little dead-end room. And you definitely want to avoid those spikes. They will hurt. Not like Castlevania spikes, but, yeah. Castlevania spikes are the worst spikes, I tell you. Nope, I think the worst spikes would probably be... no, I think Castlevania spikes are pretty bad. And speaking of which, I do plan on finishing a few more Castlevania games soon. I've just got to buckle down and record them. So what I'm going to do is get the Zelda to the Moon and Castlevania Wolfenstein up. And get that in a backlog, and I may have some points where there's more than 2 videos a day just because I want to get some of the games out that I've already recorded, so. And here we get the compass, if you need it. I find in the later dungeons the compass really isn't that useful. And these lasers are a pain in the ass. If there was only a way to counteract those lasers, but yeah. We're stuck for now, viewers. We are stuck. Now I like the mechanic of these little platforms. And it's pretty creative. But now that we've got a key, we can go up here. Now this dungeon is a little confusing at first, but as long as you try to defeat every enemy you can in most rooms, you'll be okay. Now these guys right here, these bow wows will hurt. So, yeah. See? Yeah, they take away a lot of hearts. And there's not really a whole lot of things we can do about that either. So. Or chain chomps. I mean, I call them bow wows because in the Link's Awakening, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, viewers. In Link's Awakening, there's a certain, yeah. But I like that they incorporated Mario enemies into Zelda. You know, I don't know of any Mario game off the top of my head that has any Zelda enemies in it, so. There we go. Also another interesting mechanic, these little pneumatic tubes here. When I first saw that, I mean, I got really confused. Because I thought, when I first saw them, I thought there were so many. I mean, how in the hell could you figure out where to go? But it's not really that bad. Now here, you do need to kill every enemy in here, but I'm going to go ahead and turn these guys, these anti-fairies into fairies, because if I don't, it's just going to be a pain in the ass later. Now, I made a little bit of a mistake in the original recording. So that's why there was a little cut there. And there's one other enemy up here that we've got to get rid of. And that's where we get the next key. So it's good that they give us the key in this room. Although if you weren't really paying attention like I was in the part that I cut out, you'd forget about that. We get the big key pretty early in this section of the dungeon, too, and I like that. But it doesn't mean that the dungeon's going to be easy. No. There's a few more difficult parts of the dungeon, but it's not too bad. And they keep with the original mechanic of the dungeons too, where the big key opens up another half of the dungeon, but it's less subtle. Well, sorry, it's more subtle in this dungeon, and you'll see why. And you'll also remember that we are still missing a heart piece there, and if only we knew where it was. I just thought I'd show that. Some enemies are more immune to these things than others. These guys hop around a lot, so unless they're on the ground, they aren't going to be affected by the medallion. So that's something to keep in mind. Now here, you'll notice a little bit of a ledge here that we can't exactly get to. So I wonder what happens if we use the magic mirror. And you'll find over here we have a little extra section. We'll get back to that other ledge later. Now this is kind of a little enemy puzzle. It's not, well, if we can get this guy. For some reason, I remember this being a lot easier than I had to deal with here. These guys just mimic you, so. But I think we've already dealt with them before. And I don't know why these moles are here. I guess they're just to prevent those enemies from coming down when you deal with the other enemies. But here we get the other magic heart, the magic piece of heart. I'm sure it's magic somehow, so... Now we've got that taken care of. Only 2 more heart containers to go. And you may be asking yourself, well, where's the other heart container after Turtle Rock? Well, yeah, I'll show you that momentarily. It's one dungeon that I skipped. And that's the bad thing about doing these dungeons out of order, is that, oh, by the way, we get the mirror shield here, which is pretty nice, but, what I was going to say is the bad thing about doing these dungeons out of order is that, yeah, if you skip a dungeon, it's not exactly easy to figure out which one you've skipped. But, you know. And it was a problem for me because I had spent some time off before completing this game. You know, I didn't do it all in one sitting. And then by the time I got to the next section, I completely screwed up. And you notice a lot of cuts in this episode. It's because, I went around in the wrong way a few times because I was doing this blind. And I may have been tired too, but... Now you have to get rid of all the enemies here before any column will move. And you'll hear that little sound there. Now here we get a whole bunch of rupees, which... You know, if you need them, go ahead and grab them, but I really don't. I might. Let's see, can we get them all? Or should I just leave? Well, let's try it out. I'm not going to cheat with the hook shot. Nah, I think that's all that I really need. I don't really even need that, but... We got more of those little creepy crawlies coming out of the door, just like the ice cave there. Just another enemy we can't kill. Now here is probably the worst Cane of Somaria room in the game in terms of these little paths, but it's not... if you know which way to go, it's easy. First of all, go over here to flip the switch. Now on the outside of this room, there's a few other places with skulls that you can get, like extra magic powder, not magic powder, sorry. Extra magic and things like that, but you don't need it. I don't need it anyway. You might, but I don't. No, I'm just trying not to be arrogant there. Now, we've got a locked door there and no key, so where do we get the key? Well, it's down here. Thankfully we got the mirror shield so we can block these lasers. And that just goes out into another ledge there. That ledge that we couldn't access, or we saw we couldn't get jumped down to, that's all it is. So I'm not going to show that. Might as well get the free ferry here. And you'll also notice I already have the silver arrows. Well, obviously I mentioned, well, I showed that earlier, but if you can get the silver arrows before then, I'd go ahead and get them, because you may not need them so much in this level, but in the next dungeon, oh yeah, you're gonna need them. Well, at least it helps. I mean, you could probably get by without them, but by the end of the game, the silver arrows will be quite useful indeed. I wonder what those enemies are called. Maybe I could look it up, but I'm a little lazy right now. Yes, I know, I could have probably flipped that switch earlier, but who cares? We're okay. And we've got another one of these, but that's alright. And the reason why they want you to have a lot of magic for this level is not only for the Cane of Samaria, but for this section. The easiest way to get rid of this guy is you'll notice that there is a, it's called Trinexx, because he's got 3 necks. But you've got a hot neck, and you've got a cold neck. So you take up a hot neck with the ice wand, and you take out the cold neck with the fire wand, or the fire rod. Now, you probably should take care of the ice neck first, because as you can tell, the ice neck will spit out ice and make life a little more difficult, but, you know, if you're quick about it, you're alright. So once you've got that taken care of, you're done. Now the third neck doesn't do anything. Just kidding. We've got to get rid of him as well. I like that they did that. A little bit of a false ending there. And with the golden sword, yeah, you don't even need to do a whole lot with them. You really don't even need to do the spin attack because it doesn't take very many hits at all. And at this point, you probably will have the golden sword, so... all in all, a really easy enemy, and that wraps up this episode. So I'll let you watch the ending, but thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. See you next time.